What is going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch back here with my boy, the wrestling god himself, Dilly Vanilli. Yes. Before I know you're going to say it, so I'm just going to bring it up. Dylan did go undefeated this week in picks, but I want to get out in front of it just to say he is still one game behind me. I did have one loss this week, stinking Seahawks, one stupid Lions. But anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about, so I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay.
The Patriots and the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. It was 25-6 for the New England Patriots. We knew it would be a decent margin. I don't think we saw the game going quite the way it did, but I don't think we took into account some of the factors that came to play in this game. Like how loud it was in Buffalo. Holy crap. It was like a soccer game. They had friggin' Raw after WrestleMania chants going on out there. There are people, it was freezing, and there's guys with no shirts on. I probably should have known this because I went to Buffalo last year for the Patriots game, but even that game wasn't this bad because this game was on Monday Night Football. And when the Bills are on Monday Night Football, especially in Buffalo, it doesn't happen very often. So
the first game in 10 years.
Yeah, so I mean, they got to go all out. So Buffalo went all out. Their fans were really into it. So it made the game kind of interesting because their defense came to play early on. And really throughout the game, they had a very good effort. And I thought the Bills, they tried hard, but they're just the simple case of being outmatched from one team to the other. And the Patriots end up pulling away in the fourth quarter, scoring 13 points. But I mean, it was cold. It was a classic Bills New England game. It was cold. It was windy. It was a little rough, but it ended up being the same sort of result. The Patriots win by 19 points, and we all go home happy, at least Patriots fans and myself. And Dilly Vanilli, what did you think of this game overall from both perspectives, the Patriots and the Bills?
All right, first off, I'm coming for you in picks next week, just letting you know that. Second, I did see a couple of things. There are some things to look at in terms of this game. First off, no Sony Michel. I think that was a big importance to why the Patriots offense couldn't get going. They tried to use a lot of different running schemes. Cordero Patterson ran 10 times today, and he was their leading rusher with 38 yards. Not very good. Their rushing game was not very solid. I think that's why having Sony Michel is going to be such a big factor when he gets back healthy. Probably next week. Not sure yet. Maybe. We'll see.
He was practicing this week, so we'll see. My guess would be next week because it's a big game, but we'll see.
James White obviously is going to be his very best when he's a pass-catching running back. That's why he wasn't the leading rusher. He was only 8 carries for 15 yards and a 1-yard touchdown. So his best factor is being that receiving guy. 10 catches.
He had 10 catches this game?
10 catches for 7.
Bro, I didn't even notice.
That's how much James White contributes to the passing game. He's so good at it. Okay? But I got to say,
cheap plug.
Hashtag teach for the video you just put out earlier today.
Yes, James White, the most undervalued player in the league, underappreciated player in the league. That's my latest video. Go check it out if you haven't.
There you go. But I got to say, the best player on offense today, Julian Edelman. This guy needs to get the credit. 9 catches, 104 yards. He was the guy on third down to bail out Brady on more occasions than one. Brady, a couple of times was being pressured by that Bills defense who had actually played a pretty good game up until that fourth quarter. They were making the plays necessary to keep the Bills even in the game, and Julian Edelman was the guy that Brady could rely on and make those third down throws more than anybody else on the field. And I was impressed with what I saw from Edelman, even though I know how good he is. Bills-wise, I mean, it's sad because there's good talent on the Buffalo defense. Edmonds looked like he was going, he's looking like a really good draft pick for them overall. Micah Hyde is in there making plays. But Mitch, I told you there was a stat. It's going to blow everybody's mind here today.
What is this mind-blowing stat? There's a lot of them out there right now.
There's a lot. Here's the one I got for you. In the last 54 drives that the Bills have started in their own territory, they have 0 touchdowns. How is that possible? In their own territory.
Well, bro, the other stat might be more impressive.
54 drives without a touchdown? That's
the
insane.
other team, the offense of the Bills is responsible for one more touchdown that the opposing team has than the Buffalo Bills have in the last 5 games. That's pretty impressive.
It's insane. The Bills offense cannot do jack shit. And look, I understand Derek Anderson's out there. He's 35 years old. He's had 6 practices with this team. He is not capable of being the NFL starting quarterback at this point, but he was thrown into position because Josh Allen is hurt, and Nathan Peterman is the absolute worst quarterback.
Why isn't he cut?
Who, Peterman?
Yeah, why don't, what's the point of having him on your team? Why don't you sign someone else?
Because he's got to be their quarterback next week. Anderson got hurt. They have nobody. They have nobody. Look, the trade deadline's in what?
Should they make a trade? I know Josh Allen's coming back, but
get somebody.
But honestly, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. These receivers struggle to get separation.
That's the biggest thing.
Their offensive line isn't the greatest either.
They were terrible at getting separation today. That was a big factor they were talking about all night long on Monday Night Football was the separation. And if you just watch it as a casual viewer, I'm like, all right, watch this third down play, see the separation between these guys. There's nothing. Even if Derek Anderson is Tom Brady, he's going to have to make some of the hardest throws out there because there's so little separation. It's ridiculous. And now you're forcing Derek Anderson to make these throws, and he's not going to be able to do it more often than not. So.
And even when they caught the ball, it seemed like it was like a miraculous catch.
Yeah. By the way, nice sell for that touchdown that they had.
Oh my God, he deserves an Oscar.
I was like, wow,
but that would have been a touchdown for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
God, whatever. We're not.
Corey Clement, same thing.
We're not talking about that. That's not discussion. Anyways, it's just one of those things where the defense for the Bills is borderline top 10-ish. They're playing very good. I like what I see out of them, but their offense is not going to give them that potential. And with Allen out, they have no chance. At least a spark.
At least Allen can do some stuff.
At least there's a spark. He can rush. He can run.
He can run, and he can throw a freaking missile.
So either way. The Patriots just went out there. It started off very difficult for them to score, but then at the end, when your offense only gives you 6 points through 3 quarters, you're probably going to lose. And the Patriots, who are the better team by far, figured out how to get that done in the 4th quarter, and it wasn't that difficult. So there you go.
The thing is, the Patriots, I think they only didn't score on 2 or 3 drives. The thing is that they got field goals instead of touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
it
happens sometimes, especially on the road, but you need to convert those. And I'm sure that's going to be one of Bill Belichick's biggest messages coming into next week. And I think the biggest thing we can take away from the Patriots in this game is just going into next week. Of course, they got the win. It was a solid team effort, but Brady still had 324 yards. He just had 0 touchdowns. That's an issue, right? So, and their running game, like you brought up early on, I'm glad that you brought that up. They didn't have much of a running game here, and Cordell Patterson was the leading guy. I'm actually, excited to see Patterson in the backfield. I'd like to see Patterson get 3 to 4 carries a game. I wouldn't mind that at all. I know that you're kind of short of a running back that's a go-to guy. I was surprised that Barner didn't get a little bit more work in this game. Obviously, they felt that Patterson was their best opportunity, but I also felt like in this game, this was the first game this season, I felt like the Patriots offensive line got outplayed by the opposing defensive line and the opposing front. I know that Shaq Mason got injured during the game and that Marcus Cannon was not playing, but he did not play last game either. I just think this was the first game I saw where the Patriots offensive line got dominated in the running game and in some points in the passing game. That they were pretty good for the most part. They gave some time to Brady, but they did allow 2 sacks and a few pressures that caused some bad plays. So, I thought the Patriots offensive line played poorly, and that in resulted in a poor running game. Without Sony Michel, especially, that's going to hurt. And then receiving wise, you brought up Julian Edelman. He was definitely the player of the game offensively, made a lot of big plays. And this was the best I've seen Edelman since he's returned. And basically, he looked like Julian Edelman. So that was nice to see. Rob Gronkowski made a couple of nice catches, including that freaking crazy one on the sidelines, which I thought, even if it wasn't a catch, ended up being a catch. But even if it wasn't a catch, I felt like that was interference. I don't know about you, but the guy was pushing him I don't know.
Focus on it being a catch more than anything else. I mean, as a fantasy guy, who, by the way, will be on the trade block. He is on my trade
He's
block.
coming to my team, so it doesn't matter.
He might
Josh Gordon had 4 for 42. It seemed like he didn't play a lot towards the end of the game. I think that was on purpose. The report during or before the game was that he was not going to play during the first quarter, but of course, Bill Belichick, he will play those tricks, and he will screw with the reporters. So I don't know. Maybe they changed the disciplinary for like how he's going to be disciplined. Maybe that was a bad report. Maybe it was, I don't know. Who knows? But we'll see with Josh Gordon. Thought he made a couple solid catches in this game. He had a tough matchup with Tre'Davious White, who's definitely a top-tier corner. And I would have liked to seen him get deep, but the Bills did a good job at not letting any deep plays happen basically throughout this game. And, of course, James White, being James White, made a few really big conversions on third down, and obviously was the only guy in the first quarter that was really working it. Him and Edelman were kind of working it underneath and gaining some yards. And Chris Hogan had 2 catches for 49 yards. But I will say about those 2 catches, he looked good. I think over the past couple of games, Hogan's looked a lot better, like physically and just in tune with the offense. He made that back shoulder catch near the goal line, which I thought was really nice. And then the other catch he made, he looked like he was running at full speed. And I just feel like Hogan's looked a little slow and looked a little off like earlier in the season. And that's just nice to see from him. I know that there's been reports that the Patriots are looking for a receiver, and they seem legit. There's been from multiple sources. We'll see what happens tomorrow, and I'll probably be covering that tomorrow. But I wouldn't, I'm not even like pressing for a receiver. I feel like there's other needs on this team that they would need over a receiver. But if they get a receiver, they get a receiver, and that's fine with me. Defensively for the Patriots, I thought overall everybody played pretty well. I don't think anybody played poorly. Devin McCourty, of course, had the play of the game with the pick 6. I think it was 85 yards. Just a nice read on Anderson, jumped the play and ran it back. Stephon Gilmore played pretty well against Calvin Benjamin. They targeted him a lot, and he basically only really gave up 1 big catch. Kyle Van Noy, I thought, was excellent in this game. He had 2 sacks. He had a forced fumble, 7 tackles, and just a lot of running stops. Trey Flowers was big in this game as well, 6 tackles. It looked like I thought he had a sack in this game. I guess he didn't. But he had a lot of plays that went for a loss, so that's probably what I'm thinking about. Other than that, Landon Roberts was solid, and it was just interesting to see with no Hightower, like who was playing at linebacker and how the snaps were being divvied out. But it seemed like Simon was playing a little bit more, and Grigsby played a little bit, and they definitely are playing J.C. Jackson a little bit more every week, so that's interesting. For Buffalo, Derek Anderson, 22 for 39, 290. A lot of that was padded at the end. 1 interception, 3 sacks, 69.4 passer rating. A lot of his completions were very short passes over the middle or to his back. He made a couple of nice throws in the game. He definitely still has an arm. He's just not a starting quarterback, as Dylan said. Like he just shouldn't be in that situation. I'm sure he's a fine veteran that you can turn to for maybe like a drive or just to be a guy that can talk to the younger quarterback like Josh Allen and kind of work with him like he did with Cam Newton. But at this point in his career, he's not a starting quarterback. Lesean Mccoy, 12 rushes, 13 yards. That's been the story of the year for him.
Really bad.
I thought Ivory was the more effective runner, and that's what the stats say. 6 carries for 34 yards, 5.7 yards per carry. I think part of the problem is not only the offensive line, but McCoy does need an offensive line that suits his playing style because he's a guy that really likes to move side to side. And Ivory's just a guy that's explosive up the field. And I felt like Ivory's just one cut up the field was better against the Patriots today than McCoy's trying to make guys miss. And the Patriots did a really good job against McCoy. But he did have 6 catches for 82 yards. So those were big. And he was the leading receiver. Other than that, Andre Holmes, 2 for 45. Benjamin, 2 for 45. Zay Jones, 6 for 55. Nobody else really stood out. Defensively, I think we got to talk about their defense. Lorenzo Alexander was great. He had 2 sacks. He did have a forced fumble, but it was recovered by New England. Who else? Tre'Davious White was definitely playing well. Matt Milano stood out at linebacker. Tremaine Edmonds, when he did play, stood out at linebacker. And Shaq Lawson was okay. I would say that the best D lineman was definitely Hughes, though. It seemed like he was just getting the better of Waddle all day. And I want somebody to trade for him because I think he could really help a team that needs a pass rusher. But that's a side point. Any guys that I missed or any of those performances that I highlighted that you want to talk a little bit about, Dylan?
Yeah, for New England, Van Noy, I know you brought him up, but I think he just had a great game. Putting up the pressure, making those tackles behind the line of scrimmage, getting a lot of stuff done there. Stephon Gilmore, still one of my favorite cornerbacks in the league. He's making plays right and left. They, like you said, the targets to him were limited, but he was able to stop what they needed to. For Buffalo, let me look over here. There was a couple of standouts. Like you said, I like what Hughes brings. There should be some inquiries about trading him because they're 2-6. They really aren't going to be going for anything. So I think there's some things for that. Alexander played a good game as well. And I just kind of feel bad for that defense because they really tried up until the last quarter or so. And it was just not enough because they don't have enough power on offense. So that's what I'll say.
Okay, so we've basically highlighted all the performances. I think just moving forward for the Patriots, because obviously the Bills are stuck in no man's land and they're just looking to get their young quarterback back. As you guys filter in the questions, we're going to get to questions right after this. There's a big game next week. As we know, Michael Jordan is even hyping it up. It's Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. It's week number 9, Sunday Night Football.
Yep.
So it's the Patriots, it's the Packers. It's in New England, which I think is a big deal. What do you think the Patriots need to do next week to come out the winner? And what would you be happy about after this game? And what would you be a little bit concerned about?
I think first off, they need to start off hot. The Packers were able to minimize what the Rams could do in that first half, and they were able to take advantage of it. And, they have to get them off their feet, because if you're up with a decent lead going into the second quarter, it's going to throw off the Packers game because they weren't able to succeed as much as they wanted to on offense in that first half than they should have, or I should say the second half. I would say I want to see the run game a little bit more. We'll see if Michelle is going to play. I'm pretty sure he will be, but that's a thing that I think can really wear down the Green Bay Packers defense, because they were stopping Gurley in the first half, but in the second half he went off. And I know that's an MVP caliber player, but if you get them with that kind of thing where it's not just about Brady, it's getting that run game going, I think that's a big thing. And finally, putting pressure. We talked about this on Sunday, how they have to put a lot more pressure than what we saw before. Like the Blake Bortles game especially, they were putting 4 people to send in.
And I think that's a positive takeaway from this game because they had a lot of pressure in this game.
Yes, and they need to continue that going forward. If they don't do that, there is a decent chance the Packers could win this game, because we know what A-Rod wants to do. He's pissed about what happened last night. He's mad. He is furious that he was not able to get an opportunity to go score that touchdown, which, by the way, Ty Montgomery made a huge mistake. He should have been cut. Anyways, there's a lot of things going on for A-Rod 12 there. So get the pressure on him. Make sure that happens. If they don't, they could lose this game. And just capitalize on drives. There was 5 drives. I counted 5 drives where the Patriots did not score today. That was
how many of those were at the end of the game?
I didn't count. I think 1 was at the end of the game. I didn't count the last drive.
Okay.
And there was a missed field goal in there also. So
okay.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is just making sure that you're setting up Brady in good positions and that they can continue it. First off, on offense with the running game, and then on defense putting pressure.
Yeah, I think the positive takeaways from this game is just overall the defense. I think the coverage was very solid, and then up front they were getting pressure. I really like that they've been a little bit more aggressive and sending some pressure against some of these teams. That's been a positive for the defense all year, I think, mostly just sending a little bit more blitzes, because usually this team's been very conservative in their pass rush. And offensively, I it's concerning. The running game was concerning this week, and I think that they'll look at that and fix some things. And I think the injuries on the offensive line is a little concerning, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots trade for a running back because of the Michelle injury situation, because they do need somebody that can carry the ball a little bit better than Barner and Patterson. So I wouldn't be surprised by that. We'll see what happens. Other than that, I think this Bills defense is a lot better than the Packers, and you're playing at home where you're comfortable. So the Patriots offense should be pretty good next week. I don't expect them to see much resistance, but the Packers did play pretty well against the Rams. So we'll see what happens. But you're expecting a game where your offense is going to score. And I think with your defense, it's the biggest thing. You need to show up, I think. And the game plan, I feel, should be pretty similar to today's. I feel like it should be, first off, make sure early on in that game you're shutting down the run so the Packers just get away from it as soon as possible. So you make them one-dimensional. And then as soon as you do that, I want the Patriots to send blitzes like no man's ever seen. I just want to see blitzes all day, because every time I've seen Aaron Rodgers play a team where they only rush 3 or 4, that team struggles, because Aaron Rodgers, he has the mobility to get outside. He has the ability to step up and create time with his offensive line. And his offensive line is pretty solid. So you don't expect the 4-3 guys to get in there very often. And with Rodgers' ability to move around, he can create plays with the only 4 or 3-man rush down the field for his receivers. And personally, I don't believe that the Packers receivers are that talented. They're decent, but I feel like the Patriots corners, if they play man-to-man and they send pressure, they'll have some success. And all you need to have is some success, because your offense is going to score. So if you can make a couple of plays there, make a couple of sacks, maybe get a couple of punts, you're going to have a good game defensively. And that's just what I want to see. I just want to see pressure, and I want to see forcing the Packers to make plays with their receivers down the field. That's what I want to see. So Let's get to the chat, Dylan.
The chat. Robots in there. Sebastian. Rob, what's up, guys? Go Skittle wasn't in there for long. He had to leave. So I know he's happy as a Patriots fan. Fact or fiction, the Patriots are looking ahead. They're looking forward.
They never look forward. This team's robots.
Well, here's the thing. Bill Belichick will say he's not looking forward to this game, because it's always about, we're going to Green Bay.
Maybe a little, but honestly, I think you guys are undervaluing, they still won by 19. They covered the spread by 5. But second of all,
that spread was very close until that McCourty interception.
Second of all, though,
Sims was looking,
bro, it was loud and it was cold. And that's Buffalo for you. It's Monday Night Football, man.
They also knew how good Brady is against the Bills. I mean, this is
maybe they did a little bit, but I just think part of it was the Bills played their hearts out. They played really well.
So you got to give them a lot of credit. They tried.
And I will say, I think the one guy I know he's going to get, I know people are not going to put him in the conversation or whatever, but Sean McDermott as a defensive coach is really, really good.
Yep.
He's done a really, really good job. And his quarterback, they made the playoffs last year. Okay.
Yeah.
And they don't have a quarterback right now, and they don't really have any receivers either.
Well, and I want to say this too. If they had done what they had done on that first drive as an offense and kept doing that stuff,
I don't know if it would have worked.
Could have been more. No, I'm not saying
it would have been entertaining like it was at the beginning, which I give them credit for trying it.
That first drive, I'm not saying they were going to win before we preface that, but they were doing flea flicker.
You wanted to keep them trying to do flea flicker every drive?
What it was, it was getting the production. It was entertaining. What
you
else
only have so many flea flickers in your playbook.
Go for broke, bro. You're 2-5. Your quarterback is.
They tried, man.
Do something fun and creative, okay? Norv Turner is over here in Carolina. I know a much better team.
By the way, one of my favorite play in football right now is that Cam Newton designed run where he flips it to the receiver. That's my favorite play.
Scored the touchdown.
Do you know what I'm talking about on that?
The one on the Curtis Samuel play? Is it that kind of?
Yeah, and they did it this week to DJ Moore.
Okay. I didn't see that one, but
that's my favorite play right now.
RVD ECW, what's up, bro? Do you think Deshaun Jackson would be a good fit in New England? He is looked at as a trade person up there. We'll see. What do you think?
Wouldn't be my favorite receiver to get. I wouldn't say no.
He's kind of old. He's weathered in the league, I should say.
I don't think he's a perfect fit for the offense. I would prefer the name that I like that's floating around is Golden Tate.
Golden Tate's response was quite good, though. He's like, "What are you talking about, Willis?" I mean, that was. I don't think he's.
All the reports are that the Lions will trade him if they get a really nice offer.
Of course they will.
He's been on the block for like a year and a half.
Yeah. Well, and then he continues to have good games because they think Marvin Jones is a better overall talent. I think. Who knows?
They definitely know that they like Kenny Golladay.
He still had a struggle game yesterday. I'm still kind of cheesed about that, but yeah, they like him. I will say though, I think Demaryius Thomas is getting traded before Golden Tate. Like I
think Demaryius Thomas will get traded. I just don't know if it's to New England or not.
I don't really know. I haven't heard any.
I will say, if I'm putting money on it, I'm going with Demaryius Thomas to the Patriots.
I would laugh though because a couple weeks ago you put the Thomas Sutton comparison.
No, I think Sutton's better.
I know. I still think he'll be better in the future. He's still great right now, but I'm just saying it would be funny if he goes to your team after those comments.
The reason why the Thomas to Patriots thing makes sense for anybody out there is that McDaniels drafted Thomas.
Yeah. Yep. Rob, fact or fiction? Shady McCoy is traded. Fiction.
The only team he would be traded to is Philadelphia.
Yep. And I don't see it happening, honestly. I don't think they're going to be
if I needed a running back, I would definitely look into it if I was another team, but I don't know if Buffalo wants to.
Mm-hmm. I still think he's also the kind of the heart of the team right now, and I don't know if they want to get rid of that guy at this point. Let's see here. Apparently, Golden Tate for the Redskins. Obviously, two NFC East teams, the Redskins and the Eagles, looking at something like that. Golden Tate, Redskins. What do you think? That be a fit?
I don't think it would happen.
You don't think it would happen?
They have Jamison Crowder.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very similar players. And yes, they sort of need a receiver, but I just don't see Jay Gruden making that move. I just don't see it.
I think it could happen, but I'm not going to put my money on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll look at it in the background of those teams, but – and then again, his Twitter reaction still makes me feel like he's going to stay in Detroit. I don't know. Then again, that's a front office situation. He's not involved in getting traded, so we'll see. Ruben says our offense really struggled without Michelle in this game. We didn't talk about this on – oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, they need Michelle out there if they want to be at their peak performance, for sure.
Let's talk about this because we talked about it on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Hugh Jackson is fired. Let's celebrate right now. Let's throw the party. You know,
this is the best thing. I will say this. This is the best decision the Browns have made in years.
I'm glad they didn't wait till the end of the year. I'm very happy they didn't wait till the end of the year.
But to also fire Todd Haley was interesting.
I think maybe because they thought there was going to be more development.
Who's the OC now? I know that Greg Williams is the coach.
Fred Kitchens. Fred Kitchens.
Who?
Fred Kitchens.
Who?
Fred.
What position did he coach before?
He was the O-line coach.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Okay, first of all, Greg Williams, love that he's a head coach, not just for his "so what" kind of thing, but I like it that he's going to be the leader because he's been in the NFL for God knows how long.
He has been a head coach, hasn't he?
Yeah. Yes. He's been, I can't remember exactly.
I want to say the Rams.
I feel like that's right too, but I'll have to search that up in a second. But Fred Kitchens, is he going to cook something up in the kitchen? I don't know. We'll see. But when you're, by the way, I feel I don't want to over-exaggerate how good I could be because I'm not. But I feel like I could have a better head coaching record than 3-36-1. If I had 40 games.
Did that?
No, I'm just saying myself.
Oh.
40 games and you win.
Bro, did you see that stat on Belichick?
He has to lose how many games before?
Like 1,079 games in a row.
That's insane.
To have a worse percentage than Hugh Jackson. 1,079. Coaches don't even coach 1,079 games.
He has a .088 winning percentage. You know how bad you have to be. Even the Giants have won more games in that 2-year span than they have in a 3-year span. That's awful.
With Eli.
With Eli. Again, a lot of talent around him, but you still have Eli Manning throwing the football. It's
What does that say about Eli that he's almost as bad as the Browns?
he's so bad. Again, I tweeted this out today. Start Kyle Aluda, please. Okay, I know he's a Richmond Spider. He's got a lot of things that he's got to work on in the NFL. It looks like the defense is just really putting a lot of pressure on him when we saw it in preseason. But you're not going to know the answer to this question unless if you play him. I mean, they did the same thing last year when they started Geno. And what is the future of Geno Smith? Nothing.
He was better than Eli.
Yeah, but start Davis Webb. Give Davis Webb the opportunity. I know it was Davis Webb, but like
the Dragon.
I think Kyle Aluda could be decent. I mean, I don't know.
He made playbooks of what Eli does on a daily basis.
That article was hilarious. Everything about that was just great. But like, give Kyle Aluda a chance. He's not bad. You drafted him, as a security blanket for another year at a quarterback because you're going to wait on somebody late, down the road. Start him. Eli is not a quarterback starting caliber at all anymore. It's done. So that's what I'm going to offer there. Let's see here. Robot guy says the Pats aren't going to get any pressure on Rodgers. He is not hopeful about that.
If they don't blitz.
Rubenos.
Bro, can I just say this? If you blitz, you get pressure because you have to send more people than they can actually block.
Well, and you know what happens? If you're in a passing play and you blitz, you're most likely throwing it to your running back. And who the hell is the running back?
Okay, you're going to give up a couple big plays if you blitz.
Yes.
But if you blitz, you will get pressure. Dude, because it's impossible not to get pressure if you blitz. Like it's literally
blitzing on 90% of third downs in that game. I'm blitzing 90% of the time. I don't want Rodgers
to get if Vandis Scantling can beat Jason McCourty deep, then so be it. Okay? Just so be it. We suck, okay?
He did it the Tuesday or Sunday against Peters, I think. So
yeah, on one play.
But Peters has actually not been as good as this season as he.
No, Peters has been trash this year.
Been pretty bad. So I don't know. I'm just saying. There's the offer there. Do you think this is also this question. Do you think Green Bay and Rodgers will be tougher than Chiefs and Mahomes?
No. This is the reason why. They don't have Tyreek Hill. Yeah, they don't have Kareem Hunt. And they don't have Travis Kelce. Okay?
That was Robot Guys like this 2 minutes later, yeah.
They have a better version of Sammy Watkins. That's it.
Yeah, that's true. I will. Devontae Adams is a top 15.
Yeah, I would say that. But like other than that, no. They have slow ass Jimmy Graham.
Yeah, Geronimo.
They have no running game.
They got no,
and they have all other average receivers.
Average,
but again, they don't have 400 speed Tyreek Hill.
And well, I mean, they do have a quarterback, but they also don't have Kareem Hunt over here hurdling guys for touchdowns.
Yeah.
That will not happen. I guarantee. We got a different power rankings that's not from Ultra. It's from Sebastian this time. So let's hear those rankings. Number 1, Rams. 2, Chiefs. 3, Saints. 4, Patriots. 5, Chargers. 6, Bengals. 7, Texans. 8, Redskins. 9.
Where's the Panthers?
9 Bears, 10 Vikings. There's no Panthers on his top 10 list.
Okay.
What?
That list doesn't count. No Panthers.
How does the Bengals
continue?
How are they number 6? But the
continue.
Fact or fiction? Seahawks win next week. Fiction. Just because
I don't know yet. I haven't decided.
I wonder.
You have to tune into the pick show.
Tune into the pick show. What's the spread on that game?
I think it's -1.5 for the Seahawks.
Because they're at home, aren't they?
Yeah.
Typical. But Vegas loves to pick them at home. That's like their MA. I'll look at that in a second when we get through chat. Somebody called you a corny ass Pats fan. I don't know what this guy's talking about because then he said the Bills suck. Are you two dummies kidding me? But we were just, I don't know what he wants.
Whatever.
What
continue.
do you want, bro? This is somebody's trade in fantasy. I just want to hear it. I received James White and Caprice Carson for Odell and Alex.
Caprice?
Or Caprice. That's a dude that I went to class with, Caprice Carson.
Chris Carson.
Chris Carson. I knew a guy named Caprice Carson, so apologize. Chris for Odell and Alex Collins. So he received James White and Carson, traded Odell and Alex. What do you think?
I received White and Carson.
For Odell and Collins.
Giving up Odell is tough.
But he does have Diggs, Gordon, and Boyd as his wideouts.
Do you have to play a flex?
That's a tough question.
I don't think it's bad, but I don't know if I love it.
Yeah.
Trading Odell in that trade, because Odell's the best player in the trade, even with White playing. White being the 6th best fantasy running back this year, by the way.
That's crazy. Well, in PPR, he's a fucking machine. I mean, what are you going to do? He's good.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're in running back. Yeah, it's pretty even, I would say, but it's tough.
Scrolling down a little bit. Rob's predicting that Rams loss for their first game against the Saints this Sunday. By the way, that's a stream, and you're gonna have to wait and see what we pick. You know, there's a chance we all like those Saints, we all like the Rams, and there is a Saints Rams video coming out on Thursday from me, the first solo video of the year for me. It only took me 2 months, but we're gonna get to that, so stay tuned for that. I already worked on it today, so editing, recording, it's coming along. Mr. Wong, who was in my chat last night or yesterday, is it time to drop Geronimo Allison with Valdez Scantling coming on?
I would say yeah.
He had 1 catch yesterday?
I think so.
But yeah, I'd say it's time to drop. I mean, right now he should be a bench player or before yesterday, he was a bench player that you could put in if you absolutely needed to. Now he's one of those guys I'm like, all right, let's go see what else is on the waiver wire. My opinion.
All right.
And that's it for chat.
All right, guys. Well, on that note, I hope you enjoyed this recap of the Patriots and Bills here on Monday Night Football. It's week number 8, and the Patriots take it 25-6 in Buffalo. Even the dildos thrown on the field couldn't stop the Patriots from another Bills victory. We will see you next week for more recaps and reactions, but also tune into, of course, Dylan's video that he's making. He's on the way. It's coming. Don't worry. Rams, Saints, who's better? So check that one out. If you haven't already, check out my James White video talking about how he is the most underappreciated player in pro football. Also, picks Wednesday, fantasy football, start 'em and sit 'em on Friday, and we'll see what else. All right. So from Mitch and Dilly Vanilli, also follow us on social media, Twitter at Bottomline View in the description, and on Instagram at the Bottomline View. All right, guys. Peace out.
Peace.